Companies Act Section 9, Effect of Registration. Introduction. Section 9 of the Companies Act provides the foundation for understanding the legal status and rights that a company acquires upon registration. The issuance of a certificate of incorporation marks the official formation of a company and brings several legal implications into effect. These implications revolve around the creation of a separate corporate identity, the powers granted to the company, its ability to own property, engage in contracts, and initiate or defend legal proceedings. This section outlines the key consequences of registration and emphasizes the company's standing as a distinct legal entity. 1. Creation of a legal identity. Upon the issuance of the certificate of incorporation, the individuals or entities that subscribed to the company's Memorandum of Association, who are essentially the company's founders along with any new members who join the company in the future, will collectively form a corporate body. This corporate body operates under the name specified in the Memorandum of Association, and it becomes a legally recognized entity. Distinct legal entity. A fundamental principle of corporate law is that the company, once incorporated, acquires its own legal identity. This identity is entirely distinct and separate from the identities of its members or shareholders. In simple terms, the company becomes a legal person that can act independently of its founders, shareholders, and directors. The company can make decisions, own property, and enter into contracts in its own name, and it will be responsible for its own actions and liabilities. The company is no longer simply a group of individuals but rather a single legal entity capable of conducting business in its own right. 2. Corporate powers and perpetual succession. Once the company is registered, it is empowered to carry out all the functions and exercise all the rights that are afforded to a corporate body under the Companies Act. This means the company will be treated as a fully fledged legal entity, with a wide range of powers at its disposal to conduct its business and fulfill its objectives. Key aspects of these corporate powers include perpetual succession. One of the most significant features of an incorporated company is the concept of perpetual succession. Perpetual succession ensures that the company will continue to exist indefinitely, regardless of any changes in its membership or management. For example, if a member of the company dies, resigns, or transfers their shares, the company remains unaffected by these changes. Even if all of the company's original members or directors are replaced over time, the company itself continues to exist without interruption. This feature ensures stability and continuity, as the company's legal existence is not dependent on the people involved in its management or ownership. 3. Property rights. After incorporation, the company gains the ability to own, acquire, hold, and dispose of property in its own name. This is a crucial element of the company's independent legal identity, as it means the company can engage in transactions related to its assets just like any individual can. The types of property the company may hold include movable and immovable property. Movable property refers to assets that are not fixed to a particular location and can be physically moved. Examples of movable property include vehicles, machinery, furniture, equipment, and stock inventory. Immovable property, on the other hand, consists of assets like land and buildings. These are permanent structures or real estate that the company may acquire and utilize as part of its operations. Tangible and intangible property. Tangible property encompasses physical, touchable assets like manufacturing equipment, office supplies, or buildings. Intangible property refers to non-physical assets, such as intellectual property rights, patents, trademarks, goodwill, or copyrights. These intangible assets are valuable to the company, especially in industries where innovation, brand reputation, and proprietary technology are critical. With the ability to hold both movable and immovable, as well as tangible and intangible property, the company is fully equipped to manage and operate its business interests. 4. Contractual capacity. As an incorporated entity, the company gains the legal capacity to enter into contracts in its own name. This means that the company, as a distinct legal person, can independently negotiate, sign, and be bound by contracts without needing to involve its individual members or directors in a personal capacity. The ability to enter into contracts is essential for conducting business, as it allows the company to purchase goods and services necessary for its operations, engage in partnerships or collaborations with other entities, hire employees and execute employment contracts, sell goods and services to customers under agreed terms. Because the company is a separate legal entity, all contractual obligations and liabilities remain binding on the company itself rather than on its shareholders or directors. This protects the individuals involved in the company from personal liability, provided they are acting within the scope of their authority. 5. Legal actions. The right to sue and be sued. A key aspect of the company's legal identity is its ability to sue and be sued in its own corporate name. This means that the company can initiate legal proceedings to enforce its rights, such as seeking compensation for breach of contract or protecting its intellectual property. On the other hand, the company can also be held liable and be subject to legal action if it fails to meet its obligations or engages in wrongdoing. Right to sue. The company has the right to bring a lawsuit against individuals or entities that have wronged it. For example, the company may sue a supplier who has failed to deliver goods as promised, a customer who has not paid for services rendered, a competitor that has infringed on the company's intellectual property. Right to be sued. The company can also be named as a defendant in legal actions where it is alleged to have breached contractual obligations or caused harm to another party. In such cases, the company will be responsible for any legal liabilities arising from the judgment. If the company is found to be at fault, it may be required to pay damages, fines, or other legal penalties. The company's directors and shareholders are typically not personally liable for the company's legal obligations, unless they are found to have acted unlawfully or in breach of their duties.